Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to our GP Marseille preview. My name is David Hunter, Fumeaux, and we're joined with Jonathan Fumeaux, now of Roth Arcos, formerly of I Am Cycling, and the current Swiss champion. Jonathan, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're going to have a look at the race on Sunday in Marseille. Before we do that, we'll just go back and have a look. You've obviously changed team over the winter, so how is the new team?
Yeah, for the moment, all went good. We went 2 weeks in Spain in January. Then I can meet the new guys. I also knew Firmin, who has been with me the past years, and also a young rider who lives close to me, Valentin. And so it was easier to meet each other, to know each other, and was a nice camp.
Where did you go for the winter?
We went to Spain in Tarragona, Cambril.
So a good mix of climbing and flat.
Yeah, exactly. Was perfect. You have a lot of mountain there, so you can train. And we were lucky with the weather. When I see the snow in Mallorca and in Denia, the past 4 years I was in Mallorca, and the weather was always like someday good, someday not super. So we were lucky. We had a bit of rain, but was nice.
You mentioned that yourself and Firmin have joined from I Am. You now are, although young, quite experienced, especially for this team. Is that one of the things you now look to do, is to be an experienced rider?
Yeah, I think I'm only 28, so I'm not like a big experienced rider, but of course I can bring the experience I had the last 4 years with Jan, like doing the big races, about the positioning and everything. What's good is when some rider ask me some question, and I'm happy to help them.
It's a level down. It's a continental team that you're now riding for. Does that change anything in terms of your focus in races or how you ride?
Not really. Of course, I wanted to find like a continental team or a world team, but this year was really difficult to find with the whole team that stopped, and so now for now it doesn't change anything because I'm fully motivated like the last year. So and I'm focused for the season.
And last season, obviously, you had the very proud moment when you won the Swiss title. Can you remember that day?
Yeah, of course. It was a super day because this Swiss championship was organized really close to the city where I live. So there were a lot of people who were there to see all the guys that come from here, from this part of Switzerland, who's called Le Valais, the Valais, and also like a rider like Reichenbach or Moravito lives there, and so a lot of fans that were there. So that was a really special moment to win so close to your city. I think I will remember this all my life.
And you get to wear a different jersey all season long. A nice reminder of your win, I suppose.
Yeah, of course. You have the national jersey all the season. It's perfect. Also, I think it's one of the most beautiful jerseys of the bunch.
And we get to see it on Sunday.
Exactly.
Okay, so looking towards Sunday and the race, you competed in this race last season. You were top 20. What do you remember of the course?
Yeah, it's the first race of the season, so it's always really, really special. All the guys are motivated because all the guys train hard in the winter, and now they want to see how good they are, and the race is really short. I mean short, 145 or 150 k's, and so it's really nervous race, but you don't feel the time pass because a lot of climb and always up and down with a lot of stress. So you have to be focused all the race, especially. I think at the middle of the race you have a long climb. You have their first selection. I mean, the guys that are not super in shape, normally they drop there. And here it's also a key point. I think you need to be in a good position at the top of the climb to do a good downhill and to be safe for the final. I mean, then you have the two last climb. With the before last climb is Col de Crête, and then you have like a road with really up and down, right, left, and with crazy downhill. And there also normally at the top you have only like 20 guys, and then some guys come from the back. And the last climb is not that hard because normally you have like headwind, and big headwinds, so people can stay in the wheel there. It's hard to move. I mean, if you want to move, you have to move the before last climb, not the last one, because it's too hard with the wind.
Yeah, I was going to say the Col de Crête really is the place where the kind of the final part of the race will begin. 4 kilometres at 8%. Pinot attacked last season. I can't remember if it was on this climb or if it was on the last climb.
I mean, it was just after this climb because then you have like a plateau. I mean, but a road with not really downhill. It's always up and down, and there with a lot of corner. And then when Sebanas went there last year.
And a very steep downhill before the last climb. And as you mentioned, Col de la Jeunesse is not that difficult. 2 kilometres at 6%, 4 kilometres of false flat, and then a final kilometre at 5%. And good news for the breakaway downhill all the way to the line from then. Last season, Devanines won, your teammate, a 2-man break. What do you think this season?
I think it depends how many guys will be at the top at the Col de Crête, I think it will be like last year a key point. If some guys like 2, 3, 4, 5 guys can move there, these guys can go to the finish. But I don't know which team can ride after this climb because you don't have a full team. You are 30 riders and then perhaps 2 guys. I don't know if 2 guys can chase, but. Sometimes the problem is the wind. You do Col de la Jeunesse and then you have headwind, so you have to be really strong rider to keep the bench away from you.
And what about the sprinters? Is it just too hard for them? The last 20 kilometres, there's quite a lot of climbing, but last season some of the sprinters were close, finishing beside you. Do you think a sprinter could win the race?
Yeah, I think so because the wind is always a factor of the race, and if some sprinter can come back just before Col de la Jeunesse, then normally they can pass the Col de la Jeunesse with the guys. But of course, it's not a pure sprinter that's gonna win. It's a sprinter that can climb also really well.
What time gap do you think you would need at the top of Col de la Jeunesse?
I think you need 45 seconds because I remember I did this race 3 years ago, and at the top of Col de la Jeunesse we were like a group of 15 riders with something like 45 seconds, and then we ride to the finish, but we were just catch at 300 meters to go. Okay, also was not super good. In the break because not every rider will work, but I mean you need 45 seconds. Also depends how many guys are in the front, but if you take 4 or 5 guys, 45.
And what would you like to do in this race? Where would you like to attack?
Yeah, I think if I can follow the better guy on the Route des Crêtes after the Col des Crêtes. Then I think it's a good moment to go.
Okay, right. So we've had a look at the race. The weather is, the forecast looks quite good. 12 degrees, sunshine, the wind seems okay, so I think it's going to be quite a nice day. And now we shall look at the stars. So we did this earlier. We'll talk about our one-star riders to begin with. You have gone for Thibaut Pinot, Tosh van der Sande and Dimitri Claes. Do you want to talk a little bit about them?
Yeah, of course. But I think everybody knows this rider. He was last year second, so I think it's not. It can be in a break and also win the race, But I mean, if a group go after the climb, not in a bunch sprint, of course.
Van der Sande?
Yeah, I think also it's a good sprinter. If a small group arrive, then he can be there. But Lotto have a lot of good guys also in the team, so it depends also if he has to work for Galopin or the rider.
Okay, my one stars are Jonathan Hievert, Mauro Finetto, and Amore Capio. Hievert, you will talk about him in a minute because you have him as 2 stars. Finetto has just signed for Delco Marseille, very strong Italian rider who sprints fast and is good on the climbs. And Capio riding for what was called Top Sport Vlaanderen, now Sport Vlaanderen, a good climber who potentially could make the front group if it is a kind of large group of around 40 riders. 2 stars, you've gone for Galopin, Vichot and Hievert.
Yeah, exactly. Really, it's a French race with sometimes the best French rider. So I think Galopin and Vichot can win also in a small group or also in a bunch sprint with just a few riders. So they are good in climb and also in sprint. So they are with the client for this race.
When you're in the peloton, what is the dynamic like between the French teams? Obviously, this is a big race in France. We have FDG, AG2R, and other French teams. Does everybody stop and force the big teams like FDG to work?
Yeah, I mean, the World team has the responsibility to work, especially FDG and AG2R, because they always race here quite good. So the other team let the work to do to this team.
My 2-star riders, I've gone for Roy Jans, who's just moved teams, and looking at the sprinters, he's probably the fastest. However, he might not make it to the end. I think it would have to be a slower race. I also have Tony Galopin. He's such a good rider. 2016 possibly wasn't his best season. He was so close to an amazing win in San Sebastian, so I would imagine he'll be looking to have a strong year. And I have Thibaut Pinot as well. I like the fact that Pinot always wants to attack. He always wants to test his legs. He started last season very strong, and I think he'll do it again. 3-star riders, you have Dumoulin, Dupont and Deboucher.
Yeah, these are a really good rider. I mean, these are sprinters, but sprinters that can also climb really well, like Dumoulin. Everybody knows him. He can pass the climb, and I think it's a French rider. It's a French race, so he will be, I think, the leader and really motivated.
What about Timothy Dupont? Yeah, did you race much against him last season? He had a sensational year, 14 victories. He looks a very strong rider.
Yeah, exactly. I think he also win the Europe 2 ranking, I think. And now he has his chance in the World Tour with Katusha. So, of course, I think this guy can win, of course.
And Jens Deboucher.
Yeah, I think the same rider, he's really fast in the sprint. And can climb also really well. But I don't know. Perhaps it's a bit earlier in the season for him, but we'll see.
Yeah, and my 3 stars, I have Van de Sande. I don't think anybody knows which of the Lotto riders will sprint. They certainly have a very strong team. I also have Samuel Dumoulin, but I have Dimitri Claes as a 3-star rider. He was brilliant last year for Wanty. Now at Cofidis, I think they have a very, very good signing. He's already been doing some very long training rides over the winter months, so I think he's definitely one to watch. If you had to choose a winner of the race, Jonathan, who would it be?
Can you?
Who's going to win?
I think, I would say Dupont, perhaps Timothy Dupont.
Okay, I will. So you think as a small sprint or a 30-man bunch?
Yeah, I think like as last year, the 5 guys is not.
Okay, I will go for a strong solo victory for Dimitri Claes. Similar to last season, it would be good to see an attack make it to the very end. So that is our preview for GP Marseille. A massive thank you to Jonathan for giving up your time to appear tonight, and I hope it goes well for you on Sunday.
Yeah, I hope to. Thanks a lot, and I see that we have quite similar stars riders.
Yeah, today. Definitely. Well, thank you, Jonathan.